Can you hear me? Yes. Good evening to everyone. Many thanks to LatViaNature for this invitation. We're very happy to be here and share some experience, actually some parts of what we've been doing as part of the Greek Life IP for nature since we began. I'm here with Vesa and Jenny and Alexandra, who is also our project manager, and Yannis is on his way, coming a bit late due to a flight delay. So I'll be talking about first the Greek IP in general. This is, we saw it in the previous session as well, the typical structure and objectives of an IP project. In our case, for Greece, 12 partners with under the lead of the pertinent Ministry of the Environment joined forces to produce this, what is considered to be a big advancement in the management of the Natura 2000 sites in the country. We are at the very last phase of the project, but there is also a 3+ year extension pending. What we did is a series of quite heterogeneous actions, all necessary for either the core or the supportive mechanisms for effectively dealing with the management of the Natura 2000 sites. So difficult to read. Sorry. Of course, one of the things that were acknowledged as a major gap before was the development of action plans for species and habitats of community interest. The implementing management plans was also a gap aimed to be covered in the Life IP. The mapping and assessment of ecosystem services, a new thread, you know, the relative European policies and the scientific practice, also a very important advancement in the framework of Greece. Conservation objectives, another big issue as being set in the Habitats Directive, was a huge advancement in Greek policy for both SACs and SPAs in Greece. We developed the new prioritized action framework for the new period and monitor and implemented the one of the previous programmatic period. We did huge efforts. The Green Fund, one of the IP partners, for mobilizing complementary funds and boosting the effectiveness of funding for the Natura network. We did a series of capacity building of the competent authorities and stakeholders. We are also did a big step towards raising awareness for the Natura 2000 network and disseminating the results of the project as well. And also we developed a series of innovative tools for, first of all, a decision support system in terms of licensing of projects, especially as regards the process of appropriate assessment, and what we developed as part of the MAES, of the management of the mapping and assessment of ecosystem services, fed into a very nice tool with a geo reference interactive framework. And the last 3 actions are actually what will be presented in this session. We all know the significance of building capacity for the pertinent authorities and key stakeholders. What we actually did as part of the IP was that we did some basic analysis and design. We mapped the needs and the gaps in terms of knowledge. In terms of designing the program and for achieving some kind of economies of scale, we divided the whole target audience is into two major groups, that is the pertinent authorities and the sites and users, including civil society. We chose from the very beginning to act on two main axes. One was a series of live webinars, the first form of which was not actually digital online, it was live webinars, but since the COVID issues that came forward and really didn't allow us to do any kind of this job, we made a huge turn in our program, and actually these live seminars were turned into webinars, allowing us to actually target audiences all over the country, while the first special reference was a bit smaller. And we also created an innovative e-learning platforms, something like a NATURA 2000 Coursera. We also did a series of pertinent actions for outreach and support to the audiences, and we did an ongoing monitoring and assessment of all this program. So, when we began, we designed a series of themes and modules having different forms in the seminars first, the webinars later, and in the platform. You can see the themes in bullet points here. And we also, from a point onwards, decided to actually scale up this kind of capacity building actions and materials that have previously been produced as part of other life projects. And this was the first time that such a scaling up of capacity building was done for Greece. And the results, I don't know what the relevant experience might be, but for Greece, it was the first time that target audiences have been reached out in such a scale. You can see the numbers. Almost 5,000 participants in the, it's now 4.5, 5 almost years of webinars. We have a good, sufficient number of platform users as well. And we also appreciate, and this is a reward for the focused work that we do, the positive feedback that we received, and the updated record that we've been producing on capacity building needs. You can see some basic stats in this slide, and I'd also like to point out that we use an extensive and updated every 2 years contact list, the first contact list of this type ever produced in the case of Greece. What we used this list, of course, to make individual addressing to the target audiences, but we also find out very soon that word of mouth is also very, very critical and important in reaching the targeted audiences. We have a very positive impact from the webinars participants coming from key authorities that are involved in the management of NATURA sites. We got a big level of loyalty, meaning repeating presence of invitees across webinars and time. And we also have a very positive feedback, as I said before, from participants when asked about the effect of capacity building some months later. So you can have this is an overview of the webinars feedback since we started in 2021. We asked 4 categories of questions on how interesting was the webinar and the subject, how useful is it for your job or interest, Has it improved your knowledge, or would you recommend it to someone else for the same reasons? And you can see by the answers that the feedback has been quite positive. The same more or less stands for, and that was the webinars for the first out of the two groups of target audiences, that is for authorities and pertinent agencies staff. The same more or less stands for the other core group, that is the end users and civil society. Any people not with institutional responsibilities in managing Natura 2000, that is. You can see again the numbers and the positive feedback. It was really astonishing that we had participation from all over Greece, from any kind of area in Greece, because of the digital nature of the activity. We got a significant number of participants from NGOs and scientific agencies, including universities, but we got fewer from key stakeholders like the productive sectors, farmers, fishers, etc., which shows some limits to their interest and the way of participating in such activities on their behalf. We got a strong participants' loyalty again across webinars and across time, and we received a positive feedback again and many subscriptions stemming out of the webinars for the platform. And this is the platform. Now we can see the two target audiences together. And I forgot to mention that this, as you may imagine, this content is rather general and we might say generic in nature. This is the basic info on the scope, the objectives, the results, the management of the Natura 2000 network. It's not theme-specific or conservation activity-specific capacity building. This is a generic capacity building about mobilizing and raising awareness to key stakeholders, whether they are part of the state or the local government or the civil society, on what the Habitats Directive is all about, let's say. The same logic also penetrates the design of the comms and the dissemination of results activity. That's action E1 in our life design. We based our design on a public opinion survey at the very early stage of the IP project. We developed a comms strategy. We develop year by year a comms plan. The basic aim being increasing visibility for the Natura 2000 network and the general public. The emphasis is put on social media, and of course this involves also the production of new comms material in a way perhaps that's been not that much used before. So the effects of this have been quite satisfactory in project-wise. We have a huge number of followers in mainly Facebook and later Instagram. You can see the stats for in the context of the project are considered quite satisfactory. One huge advancement also induced by the COVID restrictions was that we couldn't actually design any physical interaction event for celebrating Natura 2000 Day, which, let me say, was a highlight of the awareness-raising campaign. So we tried to think of something else and something that would actually contribute to showing the wealth of nature and the beauty involved in the Natura 2000 network. So we came up with the idea of organizing national photo contests. And while we were very skeptical at the beginning, the results were also amazing. We did 3 annual photo contests with something more than 3,500 participants, mostly high-level amateur photographers and some professional as well. And we managed to collect, I think, the most extensive gallery of Greek biodiversity that exists up to date, with 16,000 photos in 3 years. A rather good percentage of which is actually very good photos. All the photos included in these presentations are part of the winning photos of these contests. We also tried, again, this is a COVID-induced idea, to exhibiting the winning photos, not in some kind of typical photo exhibition, but making a digital photo gallery, looking like and having the feeling of a real photography gallery, but also taking advantage of all the extra tools and info that a digital tool can provide. More recently, we decided, again, not to make a typical photo gallery, but as soon as the contests were ended, we decided next year to do a photo exhibition at the streets of the most central part of Athens, near the Greek Parliament, which was also met with very positive comments and high visibility. And this generic content was also the main axis for, I've ended the time, yes, thank you, for fitting in the content for social media. I promised myself that I would translate some things. This must be Greek to you, it's actually Greek. In English, I didn't have the time, I apologize for that. But you can see also, depending on the event at hand and also on the tool of paid ads in social media, that we had quite a good annual performance, plus some peaks that were very interesting for certain parts of the awareness-raising campaign. And let me just take 2 more minutes of your time to see 2 more tools that are not capacity building exactly, per se, are not comms, but are very, very instrumental in advancing capacity and performance in the management of the Natura 2000 sites. The first one is something that has to do with licensing and appropriate assessment, and it's a decision support system developed by Aristotle University of Thessaloniki, one of the 12 project partners, which was a very good thought of, very well implemented, and quite success in its use tool that helps the pertinent authorities with executing their responsibilities. And another tool developed by the same expert partner has to do with, okay, we did a huge job with mapping and assessing ecosystem services. How to synthesize this knowledge, how to actually disseminate this synthetic advancement, and how to involve stakeholders as well. The tool that serves this multiple scopes is the PPGIS, as we call it, WebGIS tool, that has to do with visualization and monitoring of ecosystem services in Greece. Actually, it takes all the research work that has been done by the IP partners for mapping and assessment of ecosystem services and made them very useful and very practical for different kind of audiences. It is also not only a web platform, but it's also a mobile app that allows for reporting ecosystem services pressures, evaluating ecosystem services at national scale and at local scale as well. This was a very huge advancement in mainstreaming ecosystem services for the management of Natura sites and for biodiversity in Greece in general. And you may find out more about this in the LifeIP website. Thank you very much.